Hey everyone, Shawn Clement here at the gorgeous Royal Quebec Golf Academy in the indoor facility that we're just completing right now. So you guys are seeing, finally the hitting areas are in, the kitchen is in. You come in here, make a nice coffee, we get together. We got our GC quad is in the corner over there. It's going to be plugged into our computer. All that stuff's going to happen while I'm out. And we have such a great team here. So while I'm out at the golf show next week, you guys will be able to benefit and enjoy 2 videos from BRYSON DeCHAMBEAU. I'm going to do a full video analysis. One from the front today and one from down the line later on with Golf WRX on Thursday. And you'll see how some of these extreme setups and positions are going to help you understand why certain aspects of your swing are doing extremely well for you, and for others, not so well, and you may want to modify certain things in your swing. So let's start first and foremost with his setup, and you'll notice I got him with the driver right here, and he's got a ball position that's a little bit inside his lead foot. He's definitely, set up right now for pretty much of a straight draw. And he's got what we would call a very weak grip. If you were to look down on that lead hand from up here, you would notice barely half a knuckle, if not no knuckles at all. Whereas Matt Kuchar, Bubba Watson, Webb Simpson, and so many others on tour would have a grip that would look much stronger like this, a 3 to 4 knuckle grip. And you will very much see how this is going to affect your release. And for many of you, this could suit, and for many others, it won't suit at all. And so it's important that you understand, how you tend to deliver through to the target. So remember, we're not going here to the golf ball, we're going out there towards the target. And you'll see the patterns of release are going to change significantly depending on the kind of grip that you have. And we'll get a little deeper into that over the course of this video. So, you want to stay tuned, and you want to push the like button, and you want to push the subscribe button as well while you're at it. So number 2, you'll notice that his stance is relatively narrow, which will really help facilitate the takeaway and into the backswing. So the takeaway and the beginning of the backswing, you'll notice, are very, very wide. He's got a beautiful width in his takeaway. And the only way that he can carry that width deep into his backswing is if the lower body turns. And you'll notice there's no sway to his turn, right? So one of the nice aspects of his swing that I applaud is as he takes the club away, you'll notice that his pelvis and his rib cage are moving nicely out of the way of his lead arm, and there is zero sway in that backswing. There's no sliding going on. So he's not trying to shift weight into his backswing. He is removing himself out of the way to accommodate this beautiful width. So if I was going to take a ball here and I was going to toss it back there towards somebody, well, the only way I could do that is by turning out of the way. If I don't turn out of the way, I'm just going to slap myself and throw it into my head. So the body moves out of the way to allow for width. Same thing as we go towards the target. So I got this beautiful wide takeaway with lots of width, and the only way I get that is by getting a proper turn. And then you'll notice how everything comes into the backswing here, and he's got a very, very late hinge. And in his mind, he's not hinging at all, and he's maintaining this triangle throughout the whole swing. That's his feel. But you'll notice that after the backswing has been taken care of and he goes into his transition, you'll see a deeper lag coming down. Because of his transition is aggressive, and he's a very strong individual. He's big, strong, and some good muscle tone and some good fast twitch muscles. You'll notice in this transition, there's a deeper lag. Well, that's as he gets to the top of the swing, the lower body starts, and gravity is still pulling this way on the club head, and that's where he gets a decent lag. So he gets this beautiful lag all the way down here, but then as he gets into impact, you'll notice that his lag is significantly less than Sergio's, than Dustin Johnson, than Cameron Champ. It's a very different kind of release. Because of his grip being so weak, he has to deliver and square the face earlier. However, there's a way to feel the particular release that you're going to use to go towards your target. And if you go into my dominant lead hand video, so dominant lead hand, Shawn Clement, you'll notice we're talking about a topspin backhand in ping pong. So for those of you who play ping pong, if I was going to release a ping pong ball over the table with some downspin, right? So I'm going to collect the ball here. Notice how the back of my hand is nice and flat. And I'm moving. See how my elbow delivers down, and that brushes the back of my hand over the top of the ball. So do this with your lead hand in your swing, and you'll see just how aggressively his trail hand releases over his lead hand. So if I was going to go towards you, see how that happens? So there's my topspin backhand in ping pong. There's my topspin backhand in golf. So Bryson is using that release to go to his target, okay? Whereas a Zach Johnson, who's got a super strong grip, it looks like he's hanging on compared to what you see Bryson do, only because he's going to deliver a lot deeper towards the target. So, you know, Zach needs a little more lag, and it's something that his body naturally likes to do. And it's the same thing with Cameron Champ and Dustin Johnson. Dustin Johnson's got that super, bowed wrist at the top, which is going to close the face significantly. And his initial grip at address is strongish. So you got a strongish grip and you're doing a lot of this bowing. Well, you'll notice that you're going to need a lot of lag to prevent it from going to the left. And that's why Dustin Johnson has this super deep lag that, that allows him to do that nice power fade that starts a little left of the target and works its way back to the target. So because, and you'll see down the line later in the week, Bryson is more extended fully at address. That doesn't lend itself very well to a very strong grip. So it's very easy for him to release fully through. He's still moving through the ball and not at the ball. He's still taking the ball from here and releasing it out to the target. And so when we, you'll see in a lot of our teachings, we advocate much more of a strong grip to allow you to move that way much, much deeper and not have to default to the ball, okay? So if, however, you can get your hands to release wonderfully like that, then you're going to do a fine job. Now, another thing that really allows him to fully release is he is wonderfully anchored through the ball. A benchmark, trademark of wisdom in golf, of Mo Norman's motion, and you'll see a lot of the players through impact throughout history. Even Jack Nicklaus said he liked to roll his feet. His back foot was on the ground through impact. So you'll notice as Bryson's coming through impact, his head doesn't move forward. His head stays back. If his head were to move forward, he'd get out in front of the ball and he'd be blocking everything way out to the right. Something that happens on a pretty consistent basis to Jordan Spieth. So Jordan, if you look at that video we just put out a couple of weeks ago with Jordan Spieth, if Jordan stayed much more behind the ball, he would anchor that same release. And Jordan has a tendency to have that same weak grip as Bryson DeChambeau, okay? So we have a weak grip and we have a ball position that still allows us to go to the target. And what we're doing is we're getting ready to feel a nice topspin backhand ping pong release in the direction we want the ball to start. And because he is bolted on his target and he's staying with his target, his head stays back. If his head stays back, it anchors this release. It's like pulling on the string of a kite. So go see my video entitled Anchor Your Swing, Shawn Clement. And that's why Bryson does really well with uphill shots, because his trail foot stays on the ground so long. He's going up the slope. If you look at my uphill shots, Shawn Clement, that's a great way to practice anchoring your swing. So we have a weak grip. We have a beautiful wide backswing that is being allowed to stay wide and through a nice turn. And then as we go to the target, we're focusing on releasing that topspin backhand ping pong and the release that in the direction that we want the ball to start. That keeps the head back, that releases fully, and then you'll notice that the head only starts coming here, and then the foot comes off here, and then he lets all of that, he lets it flow to the target. So for those of you who are trying to keep your head down too long, and you're wondering why you're losing your balance, well, here's the reason. Your head only has about 70 degrees of range. So notice I can't bring my chin all the way to the shoulder. Well, I can't do it that way either. So if I stay down too long, I start dragging myself into the dirt and I'm going to start falling on my toes. So it's important that you allow the motion to pull you into your finish and hold your finish. So have a look at my video entitled Finish Position, Balance and Finish Position, okay? Or Width of Stance and Finish Position, Shawn Clement. Have a look at that one. So I hope you enjoyed this face-on version of Bryson's swing. Let me do a couple for you, because I remember as a junior playing with that Jose Maria Olazabal weak grip, and we used to really practice. See that release? So it is not as powerful as the stronger grip. I'm losing about one club. But when you're big, strong, and young like Bryson DeChambeau, you're not really losing that much. But, you know, those of us who don't have that ability or that benefit may want to look at other options, okay? So stay tuned for Thursday's version on Golf WRX. And we'll talk about, you know, the differences between strong grip and weaker grip. And you'll see, you know, you'll get a much clearer picture of what works for you. I'm sure you've gotten a much better picture after this video. All the best, and we'll see you soon.